Alrighty, it looks like we are live. Excellent. So countdown is finished. We are now live. And if you can just quickly drop in the chat to make sure that you can hear me. And also, we will double check real quick just to make sure that we can actually see my screen. But hello, everybody. My name is Alec. And today, we're going to be using templates. And we're going to be making our own templates using 11 Creative. So let me just double check if we can see my screen. And then, yeah, we can see my screen. We can now see this little quick demo video. Awesome. And if you can just drop in the chat below. No comments coming through yet. I've already got Lumin earlier that said, let's get creative. We got Z that said, we are so ready. Okay, excellent. Is that Lumin? Not too sure, but hello, thank you. Hello from Brazil. Okay, excellent. Awesome. People can hear me. People can see me, people can see my screen, and hopefully we'll be able to hear my audio as well. Excellent, we're confirming. Brilliant. Right, while we get started, while we wait for a few people to roll in, I just want to establish a little bit of context and share what we're going to be talking about. And while I do that, instead of dropping where you're coming from or where you're tuning in from, why don't we drop in the latest feature that you've used inside 11 Creative? Or with ElevenLabs if you've been using agents. But I've been playing around a lot with flows and templates recently, but please drop in the chat. And yeah, today's an exciting one because some of you may know, some of you may not know, but we recently released templates. And templates are essentially a way to package complicated workflows. And let me just jump onto my face full screen. I'm still getting used to this. Templates are a great way to package complex workflows, AI workflows, into one-click automations. And so recently we released flows, which allows you obviously to build out these complex workflows inside 11 Creative. So you can plug in text-to-speech, image and video all together, daisy chain them together to create automations, and now we can turn these flows into templates to create complex workflows in one click. And so I'm going to walk you through and show you templates very briefly, and then we're going to try and create together live a complicated template that will allow us to, I'm going to be a little bit ambitious here, but allow us to create branded ad assets at scale in the click of one single button. And I've prepared only a few prompts, but the rest is going to be figuring this out live. So it could be quite fun, quite interesting. Maybe you follow along. If you've got like 2 monitors, it could be interesting to follow along. But if you want to just fully focus on this workshop and soak in all of the information and then apply what you learn afterwards, that's also a great way to learn too. I struggle to follow tutorials and do things at the same time. Excellent. All right, V has been using flows. Chocolati has been using templates and flows. Perfect. Okay. Wow, that's brilliant. This is exactly what we're going to be talking about. So, flows. This is 11 Creative. Sorry, templates. This is 11 Creative. Obviously, this is the dashboard. And templates, we can find them on the left, right here, templates. It's got this little new tag right next to it. If we click on templates, we're now taken to the templates library. And here there's a bunch of pre-built automations and templates that you can use in one click. And so we'll quickly browse through some, and then I'll actually, you know what? We will create one first, and then we'll browse through them. For example, let's say I wanted to create this cool crowd form portrait. These are all pre-built templates inside 11 Creative that you can go and use right now. But all I have to do is simply choose a template, and now I simply have to upload the file that I want to use as the reference to create this crowd form portrait. And so I can simply click upload or drop a file. And let me just quickly find one in my Finder. I actually didn't prepare this, but cool. We've got a quick headshot of me right here. And once that's uploaded, bear with me, my internet's a little bit slow. Once this is uploaded, I can then go and click generate. And now behind the scenes, we've got this flow that is taking place to turn this picture into the crowd form portrait. And because it's a flow that's been turned into a template, I don't have to go and tweak any nodes. I don't have to go and put in the custom prompt. I don't have to find the prompt. It's all happening behind the scenes. And let's see, this generation has failed. So let me go and try and use a different one, right? Let's go and see if I can use profile picture. Maybe not a photo of myself. You know what? Let's see what happens if I upload. Sorry, I'm just looking through my Finder. I am terrible at sorting out my files on my laptop. Let's have a look. Right, I'm going to try this one right here. And I think this might be because I am using picture of myself. But anyway, this is what happens. I'll click generate, and while that is generating, I'll go back to templates, and we can quickly browse through and look at some of the templates. But essentially, these are all a bunch of different templates, styles, effects, whatever you want to call them, for a bunch of different use cases. Whether that is changing the background of your image, whether it is generating these cool toy plushie characters of yourself, or removing specific objects. We've got templates for a bunch of different ones. So it's as simple as uploading the asset and then inputting, for example, here, the template, we simply have to input the object that we want to remove. So to show you, if I use this example, and then here we say hot air balloon, or I probably could say remove the woman from this shot, and then we click generate. And now behind the scenes, we've got this complex workflow, but it's been packaged into a template. And so it's very, very easy to use. And Lumina's asked, but can we edit an already made template? Yes, you can indeed. Every single template that we've got, and so again, while this is generating, we can go and look at examples, and then we can also see the flow behind them. So as you can see here, we've got this flow that we can then go and click the little edit button in the bottom right and then customize it. So for example, if we wanted to add, or maybe it's replace an object, we could adjust this by clicking edit this flow and then go and change the flow. So we're then adding in a new reference object. And it's hard to explain without showing you how to build a template. So I believe that without further ado, we're going to go straight into building our first template. And here, as you can see, now we've got this awesome crowd form portrait of myself. And again, I don't know the prompt that I need to create this. I don't know what the node flow is like behind the scenes, but templates make it very, very easy. And so to build our first template, we can simply go and click new template, or we can go directly into flows. But when we click new template, it takes us straight into flows. And here we can start building out any flow that we want. And so any kind of workflow that we can imagine, we can turn it into a one-click template. We can have as many inputs as we want and then generate consistent or varied outputs. So the goal today, what I want to do is I want to be able, and I want to try and create a real world scenario. And so what I want to do is build a template that will allow me to create branded 11 creative assets in the click of a button. And so like I mentioned, I've prepared a few prompts for this. And so I've got these 3 prompts right here. And don't worry, I'm going to come back and revisit them. But when you're thinking about building your first template, you essentially want to string out in flows the entire workflow. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to need some image generation. We're going to need an image generation node. We can right-click, click image generation, or we can add any node at the bottom that we need. And I'm imagining that these branded assets that I want to create, I want them to be videos. I want there also to be audio, and then I want there to be the 11 creative logo. And so I'm just trying to map out in my head, because again, we're going to be building this live, but how this will look. And so I will want to generate the visual first, and I'm going to create all the nodes that I need, and then I'm going to fill them out and populate them with prompts. But once I've got the image, I'll turn that into a video. And then with the video, I will also want, I'm going to right click and create a text-to-speech node, because it would be cool to then compile these two together to have a final asset that actually has some spoken word to it. And so if we drag this and do mix with audio, we've now got composition node. And so I'm stringing these 2 nodes together, and we're slowly building out the workflow. And in this workflow, when creating templates, I want to be able to customize the final output that I get, but still have it vary every single time. So I want to have a little bit of control, but I still want it to be consistent. And so the way that we're going to do this is we are going to create an LLM node. And in this LLM node, we're going to use a prompt that will create the voiceover for our video for us. And so let's start with the audio, and then we'll get to the video. And so we're going to go step by step. We'll do audio, then we'll do the image assets, and then we'll go on to the video. But starting with this LLM node, basically, I want an input that will customize the prompt, but we're going to have a template prompt so it stays consistent enough that we don't get crazy generations every single time. And what I mean by this is if I go to the prompts that I've pre-created, I want to have the LLM node create a voiceover script for an 11 creative ad. And so this is the prompt that I've created just like this. And obviously I don't want these assets to be super long. So I'm asking the LLM prompt to create a 5-second voiceover. But the super important part will be that the theme word that anchors this ad, so the voiceover for this ad, is going to be at text. And we're essentially going to reference a text node, which will allow us to make this unique every single time in templates. And so just like earlier in templates, where here we've got this input and we're putting in the word that we want to, the element that we want to remove. So as you can see here, we've got the final generation. Here, I can then actually use this text field to customize the different prompts. So let me I'll just copy this directly from here. And if you stay till the end, by the way, I am going to be sharing this final flow with you. So you'll be able to go and take this one and customize it yourself. I think that could be quite fun. But I'll take this and then I'll paste it in the LLM node. And so now I've got this prompt right here. But obviously, we're not yet referencing any text because we haven't put any text in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag backwards from this text node. And here I'm just going to put text. And now we can put in any word. So why don't we drop in the chat what word we want to use to drive the voiceover of this ad. So here I'm going to put at, and then we're going to choose text. But if we drop in the chat what word I should use to drive the voiceover, it could be anything like mountains, car, fast, and so on. And for those that don't know, LLM is a large language model. And so inside of 11 Creative, you have access to Gemini 2.5 Flash and Flash Lite. And these are essentially language models, just like ChatGPT, Claude, that allow you to create custom prompts in the click of a button. So for example, if I was to click run here, this would now generate a custom bit of text above. And I would use this custom bit of text to then drive the voiceover in the text-to-speech node. And so Lumen has asked for fast, Binary has asked for surfing. So I'll start with fast and then we can go with surfing. But if I type in fast, just like so, now every time that we regenerate, the theme word that anchors the ad is going to be fast. But if we change this to Binary asked for, let me just go surfing. Now it's going to be surfing because we're constantly referencing this node and we can use this text node as the input. And so let's say if we were to keep it surfing and I click run, now we should get a custom voiceover script. So here we go. Now we've got ride the wave of your creativity with 11 Creative. So this is the voiceover for our ad. And if I was to, I actually really like this one, but if I was to change this to fast and then we click run again, now we have fast ideas, faster content. That's 11 Creative. And so we've got these really cool voiceovers based off of this prompt that reference the single word that is used as a theme. And so now we can plug this into our text-to-speech, right? And any text-to-speech node, I want to use 11v3. It's the most realistic text-to-speech that has a lot of emotion and intonation. I think it delivers great voiceovers. And then I can go and choose a voice. And so you can go and choose any voice from your voice library. You can browse the voice library and find as many voices as you need. But there's actually, I remember saving a V3 voice. This one maybe?
If you had any fun or maybe even learned to...
You know what, why not? This one's a little bit fun. And we can hear this, right? Did everyone hear that voiceover? And I'm just going to select that and choose it. But now because we're linking fast ideas, faster content, that's 11 Creative. Excellent, we can hear. Now we're linking this to the text-to-speech node. If we click run, fingers crossed.
Fast ideas, faster content. That's 11 Creative.
That's a really cool ad line, slogan, or whatever you want to call it, right? And so now essentially we've compiled the entire audio flow for our ad. Now what we need to do is do the visual part. And we're going to revisit the inputs later on, and you'll see how cool, easy, and quick it is to basically create these assets in one go. And quick parentheses, actually, you know what? I'm going to share some cool information in just a bit, but let's move on to the image and video side because it takes a little bit of time to generate. So I'm going to be using the times where it generates to give you some more context and information. So next part that we want to create is the visual asset. So first I want to start with a static image or a static ad, because when you're creating videos with AI, it's great to start with a start frame. And so we're going to generate this start frame. So the very first thing that I want to do, just thinking. So earlier I mentioned that we want to have a reference image. So I want to be able to upload a reference image so it consistently references a style that I like. So for example, 11 Creative has a very unique brand. And so I want to be able to reference that style with every generation that I do. But if we wanted, anyone could go and use this template and reference the style. So we need to create it in a way where once again, we can change the inputs. And so instead of putting in all of the brand information and the style in this prompt, we actually want to reference it as an asset or image. So if I click on upload image, let me just go and grab, actually, I have one off screen real quick, I think. Okay, cool, yeah. So this is, I'll just drop this in. This is an asset that was used for one of the 11 Creative YouTube thumbnails that introduced flows. And so it's a style that I want to consistently reference. But again, we'll be able to change this later. But for now, we're creating 11 Creative ads. So I'm going to use this as the reference. I'm going to connect it up. And now what I want to do is I want to go to my prompt. And here we're going to use the image prompt. And once again, we're going to generate a single still frame, right, for a premium 11 Creative ad. We're giving it all the context and composition rules. Obviously, you don't need to enter 16:9 aspect ratio, but I like to leave breathing room, no text, no logos. I'm going to remove, actually, no logos. I don't want people's faces, etc. And then lighting should suggest depth and slow movement, because eventually we want to turn this into a 3D motion style graphic. But let me just go and copy this prompt. Actually, before I do, once again, we're going to be using reference tags. Actually, yeah, let me copy this prompt and then I'll show you in, I'll show you directly in 11 Creative. Actually, I'll take all of this, boom, copy. Back in my flow, let's continue creating the best template you've ever seen. Let me post the prompt. And so now we've got the prompt in our node. But once again, we want to tag the specific style reference. And so here, oops, sorry, got a little Mac error. Cool. So here, I'm going to do an @ symbol. And this now allows me to tag the references that I've connected through a node. And so I'll just tag this. And now the style reference, every time it's going to use this. And we've asked it to match its color palette, lighting quality, gradient, softness, and overall mood. Exactly, right? And so essentially, we're going to try and regenerate visuals that look like the branded assets that we already have. Now we've done that, what I'm also envisioning, or actually while we do this, let's go and use, I've been using GPT Image 2 a lot. I don't know if people have been using Nano Banana 2 more. We recently did the breakdown, but I actually have fallen in love quite a bit with the GPT Image 2. But let me just quickly generate an asset to see what this looks like. And while that generates, here we're basically going to get a static visual that won't have our logo on it. And so what I'm actually going to do is we're going to tweak the prompt a little bit so we have the 11 Creative logo on it. And let me just find that. And generation has failed. I will fix that in just a second, but let me show you. All right. This is the 11 Creative logo, obviously, and I'm going to upload this as an asset into the flow. And the reason that I'm uploading it into the tab is because you won't be able to see it because it's a white logo over a white background and you can't see it. But I'm also going to use this as a reference. Right. And so while we currently can't see this generation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight to generating the final asset, because we're essentially here generating the entire static visual aesthetic background. And actually, let me try and generate this one more time. It should work. Sometimes GPT image 2 flags certain types of content, but there's nothing in my prompt that should be getting flagged by GPT image 2. So while I regenerate that, let's also connect up the logo. And this time I'm going to tweak the prompt a little bit more, because I want to overlay the logo that I have bang in the middle of the asset that we're generating. And instead of doing that in multiple generations, why not just do it in one single go? And the reason we do it in one single go is this way, in my template, I can use the style reference as an input, the logo we use as an input, and the word that drives the script as an input. So I get 3 different elements that I can customize just by entering one word, uploading one asset to get different outputs every single time. And so to customize this part of the prompt, I haven't pre-saved this, so I need to figure this out a little bit. Let me see, but to customize this prompt, I want to put it in the middle. And so at the end, I might put use this asset, and then I'm going to tag the 11 Creative logo. Again, we're tagging specific elements. So use this asset and put it perfectly in the middle of the image without a background. Perfect like that. Because sometimes when uploading PNG assets, I found that Nano Banana 2 and even GPT Image 2 puts like a white square background. But if you tell it not to use the background, it will actually not generate a background with it. But once that I've now tweaked this prompt, I can actually go and run it a second time. And first of all, here we've just got the first generation without the logo bang in the middle, which, if I say, is a super cool visual, right? This like, I don't know what it is. This silky wave looks like fabric, but it also matches the visual style of 11 Creative. It looks a little bit grainy. It's got the orange, purpley, red, dark tones. It looks really nice. Now imagine this with the 11 Creative logo perfectly in the middle of it. So that's what I'm going to do. And for fun, let's just change the resolution to 2K and then do medium. And I say for fun, it's better to generate high quality assets. And we're going to rerun this. And so I'm going to generate. And for safety, in case GPT Image 2 is a little picky, I'm just going to generate a few of them. And we'll see what the results are like. Brilliant. Now, once we've done that, let's move on to the video part of the flow or of the template. What we want to do here is, looks like these are all failing. Maybe I need to switch models. Oh, looking like GPT Image 2 does want to get the job done. I'm just going to generate a few more just in case. But anyway, video part, right? Now I want to connect this up and turn the static visual we have into this cool 3D motion graphic type of thing. And so I'm going to drag the node, connect them, and we're going to drag it to the start frame. And here, for the purpose of this demo, I think we can use Kling. Kling 3.0 will take too much time. Let's do Kling 2.6. Kling 2.6 is actually really good at doing this 3D motion graphic type of generation. And we're going to change this to, oh, actually, you know what? Let's go and use VO. Because with VO, and we'll do fast, yeah, we'll generate it faster, but we can generate 6 seconds. I want to leave a little bit of breathing room for my voiceover that's 4 seconds. Or actually, you know what? I'm changing my mind again. Kling. I said Kling was good at motion design, animation. Kling 2.6, 5 seconds. The voiceover should fit perfectly. Now here, we want to generate a video. So we're turning the static image that we'll have, and we'll go and have a look. As you can see, boom, we've got this really cool asset with 11 Creative bang in the middle. And it's messed up the logo a little bit. So hopefully this more recent one does a better job. Boom, messed up the logo again. All right, GPT Image 2 is letting me down. Why don't I go and choose Nano Banana 2 and see if Nano Banana 2 can do the job? I've been using GPT Image all day and I was saying that I really loved it. Let's see if it manages to do it then. Cool. Video. Now what I need is the video prompt. And so for the video prompt, we've got animate this still into a slow 3D motion graphic. Movement style, I'm adding all of this context here. Slow, deliberate, camera push or orbit, subtle parallax, soft volumetric light, because I basically want movement that matches the asset that I generated. So here, what I want to do, I just want to tweak this prompt and I want to remove the no text, keep this as is, copy it. And now if we go back into flows, cool. GPT image 2 has unsuccessfully recreated the logo. I did a bunch of tests and I'll have to show you the final results I got earlier for proof. But now we put in our video prompt, and actually maybe I'll do a little bit of a Blue Peter switch where here's one that I made earlier. But now we put our video prompt in with all of the context of how we want the movement to look like. We're also using this asset as our start frame. We can go and click run. And now we'll turn this static graphic that looks like our brand into a moving graphic. And once this is generated, we can then go and compile it and overlay it with the voiceover. And while it's generating, this is actually a very good time for me to talk about the fact that if you make a template in the next, I believe it's 4 days, you could submit it to the Contra competition, the Contra challenge, and win, or there's potentially $11,000 cash prize up for grabs. And so I just want to mention that while that's generating, because templates has recently just come out and we've seen people making incredible templates, but the competition is still going live for 4 days. And I just wanted to share that you've got 4 more days basically to create your own template, exactly what we're doing today, and then submit it to the competition. And Mathieu has just put the link to the challenge in the X chat, I believe. But if you don't know where to find it, you can go to the 11 Creative account on X. You'll be able to find it if you scroll down a little bit, or you can actually go straight to the Contra account on X as well. And you can enter and find the challenge right here. But yeah, it's a really good time to enter. And fun fact, this is a little bit of insider information, as we've recently just pushed back the deadline because so many people were entering so many cool different templates, and we just wanted to see more of them. So yeah, right. And again, I'll be sharing the, sorry, let me sit. Perfect. I'll be sharing the flow that we're making today at the end of this workshop, or the template that we make today at the end of this workshop. Now we've created this asset. It's not exactly what I'd hoped, because GPT Image 2 and Nano Banana 2 haven't been friendly to me today, unfortunately. But now we can compile and run the composition node, and we'll get a little something that looks and sounds like this. Oh, I've teased that too early. So close. Little something that sounds like
Fast ideas, faster content. That's 11 Creative. Fast ideas.
As you can see, this simple movement that's on brand with the 11 Creative logo. And yes, the 11 Creative logo isn't perfect there. Let me show you one that I made earlier, right? If I drag this one in, excellent. I did the exact same thing. Same 3 inputs. Here, GPT Image 2 was being my friend. Then we got this awesome like sound wave background, and it's the exact same prompts, and it gave us this final result, which has got a little bit of audio, and I can't remember what it was, but let's listen.
Unleash your creativity, even on the go, with ElevenLabs and 11 Creative.
Perfect. There we go. But we've built this flow, right? Complex, not super easy to go and tweak and modify. But now we can go and turn it into a template. And what I'm actually going to do real quick, just giving this a little bit of thought, right? Let me say I'll just call this one live workshop because I want to duplicate it so we can create the template from scratch. Perfect. So we've got live workshop. Let me just duplicate my flow. Excellent. Okay. So this is the flow that we've just built. I've just shown you how to create this entire branded asset inside 11 Creative, inside flows. And now we're going to turn it into a template. To do this, very simple. Once we've built it out, we want to go ahead and we want to click on Create Template at the top. It's this, it's not, let me zoom in. Oh, not let me zoom in. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's this Create Template button in the top right here. If we click Create Template, we now get this little template sidebar that opens up. And as you can see, the very first thing that we need to do is we need to go and select our inputs. What are our inputs? Well, the inputs are the things that we're going to enter on the template or input into the template to get a custom output. So for example, earlier when we're in templates, this image is an input. The object text that we want to remove is also an input. And so if I go back to 11 Creative, just like this, into the flow that we've just built, here, as you can see, I've selected these three inputs. And so literally just to show you how it's done, if I delete them, all of the inputs that can be selected, highlighted in orange, and I've got this little select input button. And I want to use all of these. I want to be able to customize this to the max. And so I'm going to select the reference image as an input, the logo that we can use as an input, and also the word that will direct and influence the script. And so here, now on the right, we can go and customize and name each of the inputs just so we know, right? So here, for example, we could put style inspiration. I can't type. Style inspiration. Here we can put upload your logo or icon. Let me just do icon. I can't type logo. There we go. Upload your icon, logo. We can even add a little bit of description. And then the last one is the word to inspire the script. Word to influence script. Perfect, just like this. And you can also go and add a little bit of description if you're sharing this flow, or sorry, if you're sharing this template with someone and you want to give them a little bit more context. If you have multiple inputs, it's good to know which is which. For example, if I didn't name the difference between upload your icon and style inspiration, it might be a little bit tricky. So here, for example, I could type out this image will be used to reference the overall style of your branded asset. This will be the logo that will be slap bang in the middle of your generation. This will be the word that's directs the theme of your voiceover and script. But now that I've done all of my inputs, I can go ahead and click select output. And now the same thing, all of the outputs that can be selected, highlight in green, and we've also got this little select output button. Now the only asset that I want, right, I want to click the button once and I want to get the final result. So I'm going to ignore everything that happens in the middle. I don't want to get that. I want to get this final composition generation that's got the voiceover, that's got the branded asset with the logo in the middle, all animated and compiled together. So I select output. And now, once again, we can name this. And so we could call this final ad. We could call it 11 Creative AI ad, whatever you want to call it. And then we click continue, right? Now we are at the point where we can publish our template. So we can name it, and let's just name it just like so, 11 Creative Ad Generator Live Workshop. Again, we can add a description, we can add a thumbnail, and then we need to actually generate it once to be able to publish it. And this is where I might actually switch back to the other one, but actually, you know what? You basically need to generate the flow one time to be able to publish it. But let's go ahead and test this. So I'm going to go and upload, let me just find these assets. So I'm going to upload this one right here. I'm going to upload the 11 Creative logo. And then to influence it, someone said surfing earlier. I think it might have been binary something, but let's use surfing again. And now, if we click generate, right? One click, I've customized all the inputs. If we click generate, the entire flow that we've just built happens behind the scenes. And so now all I have to do is wait for this to generate. And albeit a lot is happening behind the scenes, and the time it takes to generate will depend on the models that you've used. If you use Kling 3.0 or Cdance 2, for example, those will take a long time. if you use it's failed, let me just generate over and over again. I think GPT image 2 might be giving me issues today. If you're using or if you're generating at high quality with Nano Banana 2 at 4K, those take a lot longer to generate than if you're generating at 1K, for example. If you're generating a 10-second video, that will take a lot longer than if you're generating a 4-second video with VO3. Okay, I am getting some failed generations. This is likely going to be because GPT image 2 doesn't like my prompt for whatever reason. So I might want to go into it and customize it. So if I went back into GPT image 2, is right here. There might be something around my prompt. It could be the fact that we've got the word logo in there. It might be a little bit fussy. But that might take a little bit of tweaking. But essentially, if I just go back to create template, once you've generated an example, you can then go and publish it. And so let me just go back to this one. So let's create template. I'll quickly go through the same process. We'll select the 3 inputs. Boom, boom, boom. I should have just done it with this one, but I didn't like the final output. I'm just being picky. I apologize. But hopefully you'll be very familiar from now on with the process of selecting your inputs and your outputs. Upload logo, and then here we're going to put text that influences script. Perfect. Now select outputs. Boom. We're going to call this final ad. We're going to click continue, and then we're going to click AI ad generator, right? Because it's not just 11 Creative. You can upload your own style reference, your own ads. And it's not letting me select the one that I've already generated. So we're going to go through the same process. And if this doesn't work, I am going to be upset with GPT image 2. I think that's the model that's causing me issues. But essentially, once you've done that, you can then go and copy your templates. So this is going to be the final time I'm trying it. And we are using surfing once again. I think it was Binary Rot that suggested. Perfect. All right. If this doesn't work, I'm not too sure. But while that generates, once again, I just want to mention the Contra competition, the 11 Creative Challenge in partnership with Contra. Again, there's a lot of great stuff that's been there already. Mathieu has recently just made this walkthrough on how to take part and enter the challenge. And there is $11,000 cash prize up for grabs, which is yeah, I mean, it's a lot, right? It's a lot. I wouldn't mind that. Right, let's see. All right, generation has failed, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. It looks like the AI gods are not with me today. So that is how to create a template. Why can I not close this? There we go, I can close that. So let me go back to templates. I do not want to leave you guys hanging. And yes, the Contra Challenge was extended. The 11 Creative Challenge with Contra was extended by 2 days. And that is information that people have joined this. That is information that only people that have joined this workshop know as of right now. So you have a little bit of an edge. If you're thinking, oh, I don't have time, turns out you do have time. I believe we are going to announce this, but it's just been decided. Templates, back to templates. If I go back to templates and I go to my templates, I can now see the lovely template that I've built because I published one earlier, just in case GPT image 2 was being a little frustrating. And now, if I click on this template, as you can see, boom, we've got all of the inputs that I can do. And then we've got this generation that I made earlier. And how cool is that? And I think this also has can I not listen to the audio, the voiceover? No, I can't do that from right here. But now, essentially, I can go and upload any style reference I like. I can go and add any logo that I like, and we can direct the script with any word that we like. So you know what? I'm feeling lucky, and I don't know when to stop. So I'm going to try this one last time. But what's cool is you can use, right, so here I'm just going to use the 11 Creative logo. Here, let's put the word surfing again. Binary Rot, I really want to get this in. And then instead of using the example we provided, let's say we wanted to use a different style reference. And let me just quickly grab anything from my downloads. So we've got this random purple gradient backdrop that I generated a while back. And now if I click generate, everything, it's going to go through the exact same process, but it's going to use a different style reference. And so I'm just going to generate multiple times, just in case, because I really want to show you guys a final output of what it looks like and an example. But now it will basically go through the exact same flow with the 11 Creative logo. It will have the exact same type of script with the word surfing that's directing it. And then the only thing that will change is that the style that will be referenced will be this purple gradient right here. And I am, oh, it looks like we got one that's picking up. Okay, I'm feeling bullish. I'm feeling bullish. I apologize. There seems to be something wrong with the prompts that I'm using in GPT Image 2. But we'll definitely need to, this will definitely get fixed. And while this loads and while this generates, because I do want to show you a final example, does anybody have any questions? Because we will be wrapping up soon. And as Matthew has just mentioned in the chat, if you join the 11 Creative Challenge with Contra, you'll get 1 month of the creator plan for free. So you can join the competition, and get a bunch of credits that you can spend and figure out what kind of template that you would like to make. I'm just going to go through the chat now and see if there is any questions, and we will revisit my screen to see if we've got an awesome looking 11 Creative ad, and I'll potentially share a couple on X. But because actually, and I'll share the link to this template with you afterwards as well, so you can go and try it yourself, and you can even go and edit it and tweak it, because one of you might be able to fix the prompts for me. There we go. And yeah, flow. Sometimes it is like that. Sometimes that's just the game with AI. Sometimes it doesn't generate as the way you hoped. The way you hoped. Excellent. Actually, it looks like we don't have any questions in the chat. Oh wait, we do. Is there a way to pull the last frame of a video to use as a reference for the next video within flows? So let me just go to a different tab. We can definitely do it within image and video. So basically, oh wait, I'm not showing my screen. So inside image and video, when you have a video, actually, let me just go to history. Actually, no, I don't have a video, or maybe do I have a video right here? Yeah, I've got this video. So I can drag this video into the image reference, and you'll see that I've got this little pencil icon, and I can select the frame. And this means that I can now select any frame within the video. So I could choose the end frame to be the start frame. I could choose the end frame to be the image reference, or I could do the same thing when importing that into video, for example, just like so. And so I could choose the last frame. So now the last frame of this video is being used to generate. And I think we have this functionality in Flows. It might not actually be the case, but if it's not there yet, it will be coming very soon, because we're applying all functionality within image and video to Flows. Excellent. Lumen has asked, how can we claim the free creator credits? I believe there is a full guide that Matthew has shared on Contra, on the competition and the challenge here, and you claim it through Discord. But there's a full guide here, full video walkthrough, so you'll be able to claim those with a little coupon code you'll get if you decide to enter the challenge. There we go. Right, now, moment of truth. Was it this one? Boom. There we go. We've done it, ladies and gentlemen.
Ride the creative wave. Craft your vision with 11 Creative.
How cool was that? How cool was that? That took a while to get to, but that is how to create awesome templates. And right now, obviously we can go and see the examples. We can go and see the flow behind it. I believe there is somewhere. Perfect. Yeah. I'm now going to take the link to this flow, I'll copy this link, and can I put this in the chat? If I put it in the chat here, does everyone see this? I don't know. But I've just put a link to a template, and we'll potentially share this on X. Maybe not. I don't want to guarantee it, but it looks like it's been shared to YouTube. I think. But there we go. Mathieu has also just shared it on X. Amazing. Thank you, Mathieu. I appreciate that. Boom. So that is how to use templates inside 11 Creative. And so if you learned a lot, if you learned a little, if you want to apply that to the 11 Creative challenge with Contra, you've got 4 more days left. Go and sign up. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining the workshop today. It was a pleasure walking you through this. And I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.